Make a bag with me for your Plushy Noodles doll. So I used her original box for a pattern, and I got this plastic at the fabric store. You only need 1/4 of a yard. And then here's my fabric I chose. I just went ahead and traced around the box for my pattern pieces, and then did 1/2 inch all the way around for seam allowance. You'll need some fusible interfacing, and then of course a handle strap. So go ahead and iron your fusible interfacing. I just did it to the main part of the fabric, and then the lining, which I used the same fabric as the main fabric, I did not use the fusible interfacing. And then go ahead and trim your pieces after you've ironed them on and pin them together. And so we're going to pin the lining and the plastic and the main fabric together and sew in a straight line. So you'll have 3 layers right here, and you'll want to do right sides together with the fabric. And that's what it should look like, and show straight across. It was pretty easy to sew through this fabric. I did about a medium weight. I did not do the heaviest weight because I want it to be a little flexible. And there we go. And then you're going to want to do the same thing for the side pieces, where you match right sides together, and again you have the 3 layers. You'll have the main fabric and the lining and the plastic in the middle. Make sure it covers the edges. So this is going to be the side pieces here of the bag. And there we go. Now we're going to add the back panel, right sides together, and this time we're only sewing the main fabric pieces together, and then we're going to sew the lining pieces together. This is so the raw edges of the fabric are going to be on the inside of the bag, so you can't see them. It'll give it a nice cleaner look. All right, and then sew the lining pieces together. If it makes it easier, you do not have to use the same fabric for the lining. I just thought it gave a nice look, so it's the same fabric when you look inside the bag as well as outside. And then trim your threads, and there we go. We have a little box, and now we're going to connect it again with right sides together, do the lining, and then sew the main fabric together. This project went pretty quickly too. It didn't take too long. Probably the longest was just actually tracing the pattern. And there we go. And then sew the main fabric together with the fusible interfacing. That's how you can tell the main fabric if you use the same fabric as the lining, is just look for the pieces with the fusible interfacing. Now we turn it right side out, and you should have a nice little box like this. All right, now with right sides together again, we're going to pin the base together. So you want to be working with the wrong side of the fabric, or the lining fabric should be facing you. And so you're going to pin the base to the bottom, and make sure you match the corners so it keeps its shape, and then just sew all the way around. And then we're going to cover this with some bias tape, which I made with the same fabric, which I did 2 inches. So what you do is cut out 2-inch strips, iron it in half, and then fold those 2 end pieces with the raw edges to the center, and that creates a bias tape. You can buy a bias tape too. I just want it to match with the same fabric. Go sew it together, and there it is, nice little box. And there's my bias tape on the inside. We're also going to do the same thing for the top, and then I went ahead and baste stitched the tags and the lid together and sewed across the lid so the flap has a nice curved edge to it. And there, so the bias tape, you want to start with the right sides together and start with the inside, and then flip it over and then sew straight across. Makes it nice and easy. And then after that, you want to sew the tabs to the bias tape so that they don't flop down, they stay up. And then I did the same thing to the lid. I sewed it to the bias tape so that when you open the bag, the lid doesn't fall all the way backwards. Don't forget to trim. There we go. And then again, sewing the lid to the bias tape. So there, when this project is finished, there's no raw edges showing, so you don't have to finish any seams with this. There we go, all finished. And then finally, the last little bit is to add Velcro to the lid and to the front of the box. Now make sure you do the soft part of the Velcro on the lid, because if you use the rough part, it could get caught in Noodle's hair. We don't want her to have a messy hair day. There we are. Now we add our strap. And then don't forget to add your noodles. I love that she has a window so she can look out for all her adventures. There she is, her little carrying case. Hope you enjoyed this. Follow for more.